How are you? How you doing?
Good,
nice to meet you.
And you as well.
So welcome to What's a Seawolf. On this show, we're going to be taking an inside look at the student athletes at Stony Brook University, and most importantly, their passions outside the lines of a field or a court, or in your case, a cross-country or track meet. So let's just kind of start with what you study here and what year you are.
So I'm a health science major here at Stony Brook with a minor in creative writing, and I'm a senior, so close to the end. Fingers crossed,
Fingers crossed with it. Talk a little bit about your hometown.
Sure, no, so I'm in the South Island of New Zealand. So New Zealand, if you know, separated into the north, the south, and I'm from about midway down the South Island on the east coast from a place called Christchurch. And I love Christchurch. It's I just went home there over the Christmas break. Usually get to go home about once a year, and it's growing. The city is rebounding a little bit. Like a few years ago we had a big earthquake and everything was kind of destroyed and it was a bit of rubble, but it's just growing back, becoming a really fun place to be, and I'm really excited to have the potential to live there for a more extended period in the future.
What's the culture like there in terms of, town camaraderie, of everyone kind of being there for each other? What's that like?
I definitely think that the whole town feel it's very together, which I like. It's more chill than here on Long Island, that's for sure. Everything just moves a little slower when you've only got a town of like 400,000 people. Yeah, I think that just Christchurch as a rule, because we've been through a lot in the last few years. We've had a lot of kind of major stuff happen. We had the mosque shooting last year, unfortunately, and then we had a big bushfire a couple of years before that, and then the earthquakes from the years before that. The positive and the silver lining of tragic events is that they do bring people together, and I think Christchurch has done a good job of doing that over the last few years.
And also talking about the current fires in Australia, how has that affected New Zealand?
But New Zealand and Australia have got an interesting relationship for sure. When we're back home, when it comes to sports or anything, we hate those Aussies and stuff, and vice versa. But really, we love each other. We're cousins across the way, and whenever I meet an Australian over here, it's like you've met someone from back home. And so, of course, when they're having their tragedy with the fires and it's still ongoing, it hurts. It hurts us. And one day when I was home over Christmas, I woke up and it was just there was just a monochrome sky because the smoke had all come over New Zealand, and I didn't see the sun for a long time. And if that was as bad as it was for us, and we could smell the smoke, we could only imagine how bad it could be for them. So our hearts went out to them, and they continue to.
What really made an impression on you in saying I want to go to Stony Brook?
Definitely the coaching. Andy is well respected among not just the NCAA but around the world as being a high-level distance coach. And just the fact that I had another New Zealander here, Holly Manning, she's a current redshirt senior graduate student here. I wanted another New Zealander who I knew who could help me just to fit in, because not that I have a problem fitting in, I'm an extroverted guy, but
right.
When you're in a new environment, it's never as easy as it seems. And so I wanted someone who could help me just learn the ins and outs. And that was definitely a big part of it, as well as just the fact that the team was definitely trending upwards. There was a real potential on the squad, and I was just excited to be on a team with guys who could help push me.
How has that really helped you be comfortable here at Stony Brook?
The team camaraderie that's why I'm here. I might have come here for the coaching and for the opportunities of, that the NCAA provides, but I'm staying. I stay for the team. The team is what, there's nothing like it. I love my team. They're my brothers, and I wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. The fact that in a few months I might have to say goodbye to some of them for an extended period, not sure exactly when I might see them again, that crushes me. It breaks my heart. But I'm just trying to live every day with them that I can and enjoy it to its fullest.
And what are your some ideas, or at least plans post-grad?
I've had thoughts about trying to go post-grad over here and get a master's in public health.
Okay.
Still very up in the air about that, whether or not it'll happen. It's looking like if it does happen, it might happen in 2021, and I might go home for a year. I might try to compete and just live with my parents,
Save a little money.
Save a little bit of money. Mum and Dad are pretty excited to try and get me home for a bit. My mum didn't think she was ever going to get me home, so it was nice to tell her that I was thinking about coming home for a full year. I'll race semi-pro, whatever I can while I'm home, and just enjoy being home for a while.
What are some country traditions or hobbies that you like to take place in over there with your friends and family?
So I've had to maybe put aside some of my traditional hobbies while I'm in college, just because there's a certain sacrifice I've had to make sure that I can keep my body healthy.
Right.
I used to love water skiing, and I still do. Water skiing was a big thing for me. Back home, my family has a boat, and we love to get on the lakes if we can, and carve it up out there. But I've had to kind of put that aside for a bit until I'm done, and my team no longer relies on me being healthy and everything, and then I can maybe get back into it a little bit. My dad's a big basketball guy, and he brought me up playing basketball. We play together a lot while I'm home, if I can. I like to watch rugby.
Okay.
With
Fairly popular over there.
Yeah, with arms like these, I've never really played. But it's exciting to see the team over here, the Stony Brook rugby team. Been along to a couple of their games, and yeah, it's a real thing that I miss when I'm over here, being able to get that big rugby energy when I'm home.
What's one thing that you would want other students to know about the regular everyday student athlete at Stony Brook that maybe they don't know?
I think that the regular student, and I say regular as a very broad term, nobody is regular. Obviously, everybody is unique. And as are we as athletes, we're not defined by our sport. And as much as I think some people see our backpacks and they're like, oh, that's an athlete. We work for what we got, and we have to work with what we've got. And we have to keep our academics in high regard, because that's one of our biggest draw cards to get in recruits. And so there's obviously going to be outliers, but we as athletes care a lot about what we do in the classroom. We care a lot about what our fellow students think of us. And we're trying to do the best we can with what we've got, which often is just a fraction of what the big schools have. So if you see us around, hopefully we don't come across as aloof or anything. Hopefully we're just regular people. Have a chat with us. We want to connect with the entire student population. We don't just want to be just with student athletes, because we want to diversify everything.
Right.
That's when we're going to be strongest as an entire university, not just as a student athlete population, then a student population.
That's well said, and an interesting perspective from your point as well. Student athletes at Stony Brook are known to be involved in a lot of different types of things outside of sports. Talk about your role, a part of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee.
Yeah, I'm the co-president of that this year, along with my fellow teammate and co-president Holly Manning, who's actually the New Zealander who was a big draw for me to come here, which is really nice. So we just try to, in that role, we're just trying to create events and create opportunities for the student athletes to connect with the community, whether it's the general student population or the surrounding community at Stony Brook, so that we can create a diverse atmosphere for everybody. It's just about leadership, providing everyone with opportunities to explore what they can do personally for not just themselves, but their team and their community.
And what would you say your favorite part about not only playing for Stony Brook, but also giving back to the outside community?
Just seeing a smile on the faces of the people you're helping, whether it's, like boxing up and wrapping presents over at the hospital. And I'm not talking just from my own perspective, but from the perspective, hopefully, of the entire student athlete population. Like when the footballers go over and hang out with the kids in the cancer center and stuff in the cancer ward. I mean, just the smiles on the kids' faces, I'm sure, makes everything worth it for them. And for me, it's like when we do our can drive every year, and we provide the food pantry on campus with a large portion of their goods that they use throughout the year. Thinking about the people who are going to get to use that, and so that they're not worried about being hungry. That makes everything worth it for us, and we love doing that.
As a runner, you're in a meet. What goes through your mind during a meet, and how do you keep composure in terms of your mental strength? It's about trusting in. We work every day on that, whether we're running out, just doing a regular 10, 12 mile run or whatever it is, or if we're on the track doing workouts. It's just about gaining that fortitude and that composure, so that when you're stressed, you can keep your head, so that you can focus on the guy in front of you, and so that when it comes crunch time in that race, you're ready to go, that you're always locked in. And crossing the finish line, what's the feeling? What are the thoughts in your head? How great does it feel to finally be done and finish the race?
depends on the race. Depends if it went well or not. If it went well, I mean, there's no better feeling. And, a whole load of hard work, not just the, whatever it is, 8, 9, 30 minutes that you were in this race. Like, it's not just that, but the cumulative hours of the last 6-7 months that you put into that, building up to that race. So finishing that, if it goes well, there's no better feeling in the world, in my opinion. Some people might think there's better feelings. I don't. I've never had one.
Well, this is great to hear. Good luck with everything. Cameron, thank you for coming on What's a Seawolf, and good luck to you and your team the rest of the season.
Thank you, AT.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you.